Why real estate is a good investment. That is what we're going to be talking about on this video. I know there are lots of conflicting information out there, but I'm going to tell you why it is a good investment. Let's go. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 surprising reasons why it is a good investment, and I'm sure they will shock you. Number 2, I'm going to share with you why some people and some investors say it's not a good investment. We're going to talk through that. I want you to know what the conflicting opinions are. And then number 3, I'm going to tell you a story of my investments, my real estate investments versus my other investments, and give you a really clear comparison so you can learn and understand the difference between the two and how this really works. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to tell you these 5 really surprising things about real estate investment and why it's a good investment. We're going to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's start with the good, because that's pretty easy. So we have real estate, and we know that for most cases that real estate is what? A house, an apartment, land, mobile home, something like that. We're talking about real estate, something that has real value, okay? Real estate has real value. It is called real property for that reason. And it's really important to know that having something that is immovable, okay, that cannot just be picked up and thrown somewhere else, is going to be something that you want to invest in, okay? Real estate is the cornerstone of our economy for that reason, especially in most of your developed countries like America, Canada. It's going to be very important because it is the crux of our economy, hence why when real estate fails, sometimes the whole economy fails. So since we've now established that real estate is real property, it's immovable, it's something that does not just, you can't just pick it up and move. We're not talking about, you know, a car or an RV. We're talking about real estate property that you cannot just pick up and move. So now we are into what the real asset is, okay? And real estate, if you buy it properly, is an asset. And the fact of the matter is, it is still, real estate is the #1 way to wealth in America, okay? #1 wealth. Look this up. 89% of all millionaires were created so through real estate. And the reason that this is I'm going to give you some really real reasons why. And again, I have my MBA, I have another master's degree in economic development. This is not just from me flipping houses is why I'm telling you this. This is not only from experience, but this is also formal education that teaches us this. And you can look historically and see that this is what people do, especially if they ever get any money, they immediately take it. You know, Michael Jordan, Oprah, and things like that. They're going to take that money and they're going to buy real estate with it too. Number 2, and I want to get this because I have some really good stuff for you guys. You can leverage real estate, meaning you can borrow against it. I don't know too many people that borrow against their cars or, you know, yes, you can borrow against your stock and some other things, but it's nowhere near as easy. The financing, the whole process of borrowing against real estate is really one of the reasons, because you can take that actual money and you can reinvest it and grow your wealth. So being able to borrow against real estate is another really good reason why it's a good investment. Number 3, and this is so important, and this is cash flow. Real estate creates income if you do this properly, and it creates cash flow. So if I have a rental property, for example, and even if I've borrowed against it and the mortgage is $1,000 per month and I have someone paying me $1,500 a month, or better, the way I do it, I probably making, if it's $1,000 per month, I'm probably making nearly $3 grand a month off of that. So I'm probably getting at least 3 times what the mortgage is. And so it creates cash flow for me because I can leverage that, borrow against it, put someone in that property, and then get money each month. Cash flow. And I'm sorry, but putting money in a 401k and investing in the stock market oftentimes does not get you that consistent cash flow like real estate. And last but not least, real estate offers us lots of options, okay? So there are so many strategies in real estate investing that you can leverage to start making money. So let's talk about all of these different options. So we know a few. We know about wholesaling. We know about fix and flipping. We know about rental properties. We know about being a landlord. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, because most of what we're talking about when we say those options, we're talking about single family homes or multi-units. But I'm going to tell you some even spicier stuff that you can really start doing and get into so that you'll see why this is where you need to be investing wise. Like I said, so many options. And when I say options, I'm not talking about just the usual. We're talking about options in real estate. Like, what do you mean? You know, we know that there's houses. Everybody knows about a house, okay? We know about houses. That's the easy thing. But let's talk about some other things in real estate where you make a lot of money, not just a regular old house. We have apartments. We have land, okay? And lots, all right? And yes, you can flip lots, all right? I have a whole video on it. I'll put a link below. Yes, you can flip lots and make money with lots. We have real estate investment trusts, okay? We're REITs, where we can invest in a REIT, which is a portfolio of properties that are already making money. You can invest in that and start getting residual cash flow from the investments they already have that have cash flow coming from. We have mobile homes, all right? So again, I know we talked about real property. So I'm gonna take a quick second here because mobile homes, some people know you can pick them up and move them. Well, that's not real property then. If you can pick the house up and move it, it's not real property. But not all mobile homes have to be moved. You can affix them to the land and they become real property. So this is another option. I have a student. Let me tell you really quickly. I have a student. I'm not a big fan of mobile homes, I'll be honest with you, but I know about them and I have some really good friends that make a ton of money. It's just not my cup of tea per se. I'm really into the apartments. But again, money is money, so you find your niche and what works for you. So I had a student, he was in an area that had a lot of mobile homes, okay? Because again, real estate is everywhere. Whatever market you're in, there's money for you there. And he wanted to do mobile homes. And so he wanted to get a mobile home park. Now, doesn't that sound really expensive and really crazy? Well, it actually wasn't as crazy and expensive and hard to do as you think. He literally, I connected him with another guy that I knew that was, you know, I had marketed and had worked with before, and he had some mobile homes and he was connected with buying them and selling the entire lot. This guy wanted to now start developing his own mobile parks, so he wanted to get rid of some of the ones that he has, which is really what I prefer of an investor to do. I would never really tell you about getting into starting mobile home parks. It's too many disasters, it's pretty risky. But buying an established mobile home park is pretty profitable. And so that's what my student did. And he did that leveraging not that much money. And I'm telling you, when I say not that much money, not that much money, I'm talking less than $5,000, okay, is what he had to put into the transaction. And now he's making tons of money with a mobile home park that I think has like 65 mobile homes in it. Okay, so now we've gone through, you know, why it's a good investment. But everyone doesn't agree with Noel. So I want to tell you what their points are and give you some real facts about it. So, of course, you can invest in stocks. Publicly traded companies, you can look through them and you can buy stocks and you can trade through them. I've done that. But can you, like I said, borrow? Can you get the cash flow? Can you get that monthly revenue? Okay? Can you rent your stocks out and then start making money? Can you make money off stocks you don't own, like real estate, okay? It's just really limiting with stocks. You basically take your money, you invest in the stock market, and then if the company goes up, you get the difference. Pretty cool, but definitely not offering you all the benefits of real estate. The next thing, of course, is mutual funds. And mutual funds are just a combination of stocks. That's basically all mutual funds are. They basically are a fund manager has looked at a lot of different companies and he's pooled together different stocks and different bonds. Okay, we'll talk about bonds really quickly because you can invest in the bond market and get a little bit of money, very little there. That's kind of the problem with bonds. It is a lot safer, but again, you're not getting that cash flow. You're not getting that money that you would get. And again, I'm not sure if I told you this, but I'm gonna tell you again, the average flip last year, so we're just talking about a fix and flip, was over $65,000, okay, in profit. And you can look this up. This isn't Noel. Look on Realty Track and look up what the average profit on a fix and flip transaction was. It'll shock you. You want to do this. I don't really know too many people that fix and flipped a stock and got 65 grand. Well, all right. Hopefully you got a lot of information and that wraps up all of this. Now you can really see pretty clearly why real estate is a good investment, how you don't need very much money to do it, how you can leverage properties that you don't own, how you can leverage properties that you owe money on and still make money each month and get cash flow from, and why a lot of the other investments are just inferior to real estate. So I'm gonna take this moment and invite you below. There's a link to click about an opportunity that we have where you can own hundreds of properties for just a few $100 and start getting that residual income that you're looking for. All right, I'll see you next time.